we're all just rude, arrogant, and dumb. That can be true about Americans.
Rude? I don't know. Like, Americans are like one of the nicest people that I've met so far. Oh, yeah, that is so much better in the US. Ah. Hi and welcome back. So today we're gonna get 10 reasons why the US might be better than Europe. But before we go into that, please make sure if you like my content, that would help me so much if you would give a like and a subscribe. Thank you so much for that. And if you want to see more of me, then you should definitely check out my Patreon or my channel memberships. There you can get exclusive videos, early access to videos, and all of that stuff. Thank you so much for that. And now let's go into the video.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs and a video about why the United States is so much better than Europe. This video came about after getting emails from Europeans for close to 3 years now telling...
Whenever I see, New York and the skyline, I found it absolutely fascinating. Like, all of those different shapes. I absolutely love that. And, it's just breathtaking. We don't have any so high buildings in Germany.
Why the US sucks and Europe is so much better. I get these all the time. They often bring up some good, valid points, but they also like to hint at things like we're all just rude, arrogant, and dumb. That can be true about Americans.
Rude? I don't know. Like, Americans are like one of the nicest people that I've met so far, next to Australians, I would say. So definitely not rude. I mean, I would say that we are in Europe way more rude, especially in Germany and those Germany, Austria, all of that stuff, than Americans. So I don't know why they should be rude. As I said, Americans are one of the nicest people.
But that could be true about anyone. It's not like Americans have cornered the market on being rude. These people always act like they have it so much better in Europe, and the only thing the US has ever done was start wars. Honestly, that's like the...
I mean, that is Austria's speciality, right? Starting wars.
General theme. That's what they always seem to go to, is we start wars. But US does have some bad things, and the US has some great things, just like Europe. Every country, every town, every village, and every neighborhood has its good and its bad. If you don't understand that, you're kind of dumb. So let's take a look in no particular order at some things that make the US...
Yeah, exactly. Some things might be better in Europe, some things might be better in the US, and that's totally cool, so that everybody can decide. Of course, to some restrictions, visa, maybe something is too expensive, something, But, everybody can decide where he or she wants to live. So that is absolutely great.
It's a far better option than Europe. Number 10, World Wars. We don't have them. We never have. We hopefully never will. We just don't have world wars here in the United States. We've had a civil war and we've had some other things. And before you do, stop typing. Yes, Pearl Harbor was part of World War II and it was on American soil, but that was just an attack that took a couple hours. The Japanese also did take hold of some rock outcropping we had in the Bering Sea near Alaska. They stayed there for a couple months. We didn't even try and chase them out. But when it comes to world wars, no real combat on American soil other than those.
Yeah,
we've joined up.
Absolutely true, right? Yeah.
Wars. Matter of fact, we joined 2 world wars in Europe to help Europe. I don't know if you Europeans remember, but there was this German guy with a funny little mustache, and he had plans for all of...
Well, you actually didn't help us. So, to help us, actually not true. More like the Allies.
Europe and pretty much the entire world. If it wasn't for the United States, there's a good chance his dream would have come true. Over 100,000 U.S. servicemen lost their lives in combat during World War II. In World War I, it was about 116,000. So we may have started some wars in our history, but we sure have helped out Europe with a couple of theirs. And from the looks of it, might be a third one on the way. Number 9, amusement parks. That World War II thing, World War I, was kind of depressing, so let's look at amusement parks. We excel at amusement parks. Europe has some wonderful things to do, don't get me wrong, but we set the bar for amusement parks. The Six Flags amusement parks, our water parks, Disneyland, Disney World.
To be honest, I have only been once in my life at a amusement park, I think Legoland, but never... I mean, there was another one, but it was very small. But yeah, I was never really in amusement parks, never.
Cedar Point, Hershey Park, Busch Gardens, Universal, King's Dominion, Kings
Sounds
Island.
amazing.
And one of my personal favorites growing up was Knott's Berry Farm. It's not the biggest and it's not one of the best, but it's just got a place in my heart. So it gets a mention. Euro Disney's nice, Euro Park, Port Adventura, Future Scope. Those are all nice, but it's nothing compared to what we got going on here in the United States. Okay, Legoland started in Europe and that's pretty cool. We got some here in the United States, but we still blow everyone out of the water when it comes to amusement parks.
Definitely.
Number 8, the U.S. economy. If you don't know, the U.S. economy is huge. It's by far the biggest economy in the world. The United States annual GDP is about $21 trillion. In a distant second, you have China with an annual GDP of $14.72 trillion. After that, you got Japan with $5.06 trillion GDP. At number 4, you get your first European country, and it's Germany.
I think they changed now, swapped places lately, right? I think Germany is now the third largest. But could be, they're always very close.
They only have a 3.85 trillion annual GDP. Then the United Kingdom is 2.76. And then after that, you got India. And then finally France, 2.63. Italy, 1.89. And if you look outside of countries, the state of California would come in 5th place with 3.4 trillion. So my question to the Europeans are, if we suck that bad, why do we make so much money? And feel free to leave comments about how we're corrupt and we take advantage of other countries like your countries don't also. Number 7.
Please hit like and subscribe. It would help me so much. Thank you.
Our technology. The United States has invented most of the really cool stuff. Sure, Europe has come up with the guillotine and the Iron Maiden, but the United States has come up with...
Oh, I hope the Europeans that watch that get it in our right throat, because that it's clearly a little bit of satire to say the guillotine and Iron Maiden. You could at least say the car, for example, or the computer, not the personal one, but the normal computer. But I get it. Okay, come on, let's hit us with what the US has invented.
Things like the personal computer in 1971, the Weed Whacker in 1971.
Wow,
1972, we came up with the video game console. 72
Really? That's absolutely cool. I thought it is in Japan.
Also gave us the MRI. 73 gave us the cell phone. This is all before 1980. In 1978, we invented microwave popcorn. 1986.
Wait, there was no microwave popcorn before that? Crazy, I didn't know that.
We gave you the 3D printer. 1996, we gave...
In 1986? We can print stuff since 1986? I mean, I was literally as flashed when I heard that we clone something since literally 30 years, and I was like, what? Really? I don't know, that seems like such a new technology that you think that will be 15 years old max.
Google. 2005, we gave you YouTube. I should say 2004, we gave you Facebook also, but that's kind of working against us these days, it seems like. Along with in 2006, Twitter showed up. We also gave you the COVID-19 vaccine. I know some of you don't think that was
Really? I didn't know that. Interesting. I thought actually that it was created by BioNTech.
Thing, but a lot of people do. If you want to go way back, 1938, we invented the chocolate chip cookie. Take that, Europe, you and your croissant.
Okay, that is, we are checkmated.
Number 6, gas prices. Your gas prices suck, Europe, face it. I know you go by liters, and we're going to break it down for gallons, which we use here in the United States, and dollars, okay? I found a nice little chart that breaks it down as of May 1st, 2022. The highest gas prices in the world right now is Hong Kong.
Norway? Okay, Hong Kong.
And it is $10.87 on average per gallon of gas. Norway, it's 9.13 for a gallon of gas. Monaco, it's $9 a gallon of gas. Iceland, $8.75. Denmark, $8.69. Finland, $8.64. Greece, $8.38. Netherlands, $8.33. Germany, $7.91. United Kingdom, $7.70. The list goes on. Sweden, $7.69. Liechtenstein, $7.66. Estonia, $7.55. Switzerland, $7.47.
Yeah, around €1.50, or €1.70 per liter is always in Europe, yes. Most of it is, I think, through very high taxes because we want to encourage people to drive less. But that makes, of course, literally driving 100 kilometers, 60 miles, costs around €10 at least, which is absolutely crazy.
This list goes on. You know where the United States is? 84th in the world with $4.58
Oh my
on
God,
average.
I'm so jealous. That would make traveling by car so cheap and so convenient.
Now, this is the point where a bunch of people here in the United States are going to leave some political comment or how they just paid $5.10 in Los Angeles or something. This is the national average. Good thing you people in Europe like to ride bikes everywhere. Number 5.
Certainly nobody in Switzerland likes to ride bikes with the mountains.
Fast food. Now, this is a strange one, I know, because fast food isn't really something you should be proud of, but I will tell you right now, every single European I know, that's one of the first things they say is our fast food is amazing. The variety and the flavor is awesome. You have great food in Europe. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that. You have a lot of really classic cuisine. The Italian stuff you got going on in Italy, France, amazing. I could really do without German food, but still, But Americans that go over there, they bring that up all the time, and Europeans that come over here talk about how amazing our fast food is. Again, it's unhealthy. It's probably why we're one of the largest countries in the world as far as chubby people go, but still, it tastes great. We have a wide variety. It's something that's kind of awesome.
You have to give it to them. I actually loved all of the fast food stuff, like McDonald's and all of that stuff when I was younger as a child. It was literally my favorite food, I think. I was not going often there, but it was always an event. Now, being older, more responsible, of course, I don't go that often there anymore. Literally, I don't know, last time I did, maybe 6 months ago or something. Literally, I only go when everything closes here in Vienna and you just can go to McDonald's because you don't have anything. But yeah, it is actually very tasty, yeah.
4. Modern music. Jazz, blues, rock and roll, rap, hip-hop. As far as modern music goes, it all started here, and anything that was done in Europe was basically a new version of something that came from the United States. Prove me wrong. Now, if you go way back in music, Mozart, Wagner, Chopin, Bach, those are all great. But what have they done for us lately? They haven't done much for us lately because they all died in the early 1900s or late 1800s or even earlier than that. They haven't done much for us lately. But modern music is where the United States shines. What is considered to be the first rock and roll song ever was done by Ike Turner and Jackie Preston. They wrote a song called Rocket 88, and that is considered to be the first rock and roll song ever. If it wasn't for that, and then Elvis taking that type of music, and Buddy Holly and people like that, we wouldn't have had the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or some version of that. Again, don't get me wrong, there has been some amazing modern music that's come out of Europe, but yeah, we started it. Number 3, the landscapes. Now this one's going to be
actually the music and all of that cultural thing is, I think, what made, or a big part of what made America such a superpower. Of course, alongside with the freedom that you have and therefore then companies, lower taxes and all of that stuff. But I think, this whole cultural thing made America, I think, much stronger than it would be if just there would be this economy and, this size, I think. And this made it to this, not European, this worldwide superpower, I think, actually. I know when my grandma was always talking, then we had rock and roll and it was so cool. Absolutely true.
Opinion, because Europe does have the Alps, amazing rivers like the Rhine, Lake Como, and other amazing lakes, the Azores, Tuscany, the Greek Isles. Those are all great, but it doesn't compare to the sheer volume that we have here in the United States with places like Yosemite, Arches, the Great Smoky Mountains, the Rocky Mountains, the Great Lakes, the Everglades, Death Valley, the giant sequoias, the Redwoods, Yellowstone National Park, the Badlands, the Grand Canyon, the entire...
I would love to visit all of them. I would love to visit all of them. I cannot say if they are better or worse than Europe, because on one side I have not country to even travel to even half of the countries in Europe. To the other side, I have never been to the US, so I cannot say. But from what I've seen, they are absolutely amazing.
State of Oregon outside of Portland. That list can go on about amazing landscapes to see here in the United States. Europe does have some good ones, but just in sheer volume and numbers and things to see, we're a bigger country and we have amazing landscapes. So we get the win.
Europe is not a country. Very important. That triggers me very hard when you say that.
in my opinion, on that one. Now, to be fair, if we start looking at amazing buildings, ancient buildings and stuff, Europeans got us killed there. But, the Colosseum, Eiffel Tower, Big Ben, so many other ones. We have nothing that compares to that, but our land and our natural beauty is, in my opinion,
Definitely,
and a lot of people's opinion, so much
breathtaking.
better. Taxes. Everyone in the United States always seems to think they have
Oh, yeah, that is so much better in the US.
highest taxes. Not even close. The United States is ranked 44th. If you take what the United Nations considers a country and you rank them by how much they tax their citizens, this is how they're ranked. The Ivory Coast, for some reason, they're just taxing the hell out of everyone. But it's followed by Finland, Japan, Austria, Denmark, Sweden.
Yeah, Austria is insane.
Belgium, Israel, Slovenia, Netherlands, Portugal, Ireland, Spain, Iceland, China gets in there, Germany, United Kingdom, France, South Africa, South Korea, Australia. Then we go back to Luxembourg, Greece, Italy, Turkey, which is not really in Europe, but you get the idea. And then after that, it goes down a while and you start seeing things like Switzerland, Monaco, Norway. And finally, way down there at number 44, you get to the United States. Here in the United States, we complain about our taxes an awful lot, especially how they're slanted towards the rich, really don't pay that much taxes. And if you're middle class or below, you're getting gouged. That's how we see it. But if you rank them on a global scale, the United States isn't doing that bad. But that top 20 is still...
No, you really are. You're not paying. I mean, of course, we therefore have also done free education, basically because we pay for it by taxes. But the taxes in America are actually really great in comparison to Europe.
With a lot of European countries. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. We'd love it if you went over there and subscribed. There's a link down below. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, shopping. Yes, I'm sure a lot of you are a little shocked, but shopping is one of the biggest complaints Americans that move to Europe have about Europe, and Europeans that come to the United States, they love how easy it is to shop. Now, it's not just ease or whatever, it's convenience and actually customer service. Customer service really doesn't seem to be much of a thing in Europe, according to most people that have moved over there or visited. What we would consider rude here in the United States really is kind of normal in Europe when it comes to someone working at a retail place or a grocery store, something like that. They don't really see it as rude. It's just very transactional to them and matter of fact. All right, that's today's video.
But to be honest, actually, when I ask, I mean, I totally get it. And to be honest, when I want to be, nicely, when I want to buy something, right, of course, nicely treated. But for example, with clothing, I'd rather have somebody that is rude to me and says, oh no, this looks, not amazing and all of that stuff, than somebody that talks me into it. Because if it really looks not amazing, don't talk me into it, right? So, but otherwise, I totally, apart from clothes, I totally agree with him.
Oh, okay, if you've made it this far, here's the thing. Europe is a great continent. The countries there are amazing, but for some reason they seem to think that there's nothing wrong with all of Europe and just the United States has problems. And that's going by the emails and the comments that I get on a regular basis. Now, some of you might be saying, well, why didn't you break it down by country? Well, is that fair? Look how big the United States is compared to, let's say, Germany or Switzerland or Austria. That's not fair. Each one of the countries are a little bit different, but all these kind of fit with what's going on there according to various studies and surveys of people from Europe that have moved to the United States and Americans that have moved to Europe. So
I hope you liked it and tell me what I should watch next, and we see each other in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much to Todd Phillips and all of the other patrons and channel members for your support. You're awesome.